I want to touch on the World Series. Obviously, we haven't done a lot of it here, but the Nationals were, as you know, were up 2-0. And a lot of people were counting out the Houston Astros. I think we forget how great of a regular season this team had. Yeah. But I think we all in the room are a little surprised that the Nationals lost 3 games in a row. And Scherzer not pitching was a surprise to many of us. Nobody, at least many people in the gambling world, did not know that was going to happen. But what do you guys make of the Nationals blowing a 2-0 lead, losing 3 in a row? Do you think they can somehow find a way to win Game 6 and to stretch this out to a 7th game in the World Series? Because that's not something we see very often.
Well, JD, it's not beyond the realm of possibility, right? Given not only, you mentioned, of course, they won the first 2 games. They won the first 2 games on the road.
Right.
Okay, and then the Houston Astros come to D.C. and win all 3 games in D.C. So, as JD and I talked about yesterday, why would it be completely out of the realm of possibility that the Nationals would get it done both in Game 6 and Game 7 down in Houston? So, it's one of those series that's been tough to predict by all measurements. And of course, you had the kind of monkey wrench thrown into things last night as everybody expected Max Scherzer to be the starting pitcher for Washington.
Joe Ross, who has a 7.43 ERA in 2019 at home.
Mm-hmm. By the way, though,
just the worst possible situation for this guy.
By the way, speaking of measurements, I need to mention this real quickly. Did you hear the story or see the video of 2 very attractive women models that showed their boobs behind the plate when Cole was pitching last night? Did you see that?
I did feast my eyes on that.
I'll tell you what I saw, which actually made me much more angry. Was wait,
hold on a second. What do you mean much
angry?
More? That got you angry?
Angry.
You were upset, JD, by the visual?
What do you mean?
Stop it.
You're angry when a girl shows her boobs? What are you talking about?
Anyways, what I'm not happy about with that, they did that to throw him off, obviously.
What's wrong with that? It was funny.
And it didn't work. But the pitch,
you were legitimately angry at that.
The pitch before that, there was a guy. Someone was walked. Yeah. He walked someone.
Right.
The ball was outside of the strike zone. It was a clear ball. He threw a fit on the mound. I mean, an actual temper tantrum, like a 7-year-old.
Cole's a crybaby.
He isn't. I didn't think he was, but I think he is now. The next at bat, the exact same situation. It's going to be ball 4. He throws a ball that was actually more of a ball than the pitch before. The ump calls it a strike.
Well, guess what? This is a conversation.
And gave him a giant. He had a huge strike zone.
I don't want to hear you complaining about that. You know why?
Complaining
I'll
about
tell you
that.
why.
I'm tired of teams like the Astros and like the New England Patriots.
There's an easy fix to this.
Who do not need help from the officials. Getting constant preferential treatment from the officials.
To the great teams.
It makes no sense at all.
Not just the mediocre teams, not the bad teams, but the good teams.
Yeah, why give the best teams in the sport preferential treatment? They don't need it. It makes no sense to me at all. And it's so bad for sports.
You both have disagreed with me on this time and time again. There's an easy fix to this problem. Every umpire has a different strike zone behind the plate. They've tried it in AA baseball where an umpire wears an earpiece and it's all computerized and they tell him through the computer whether it is a ball or a strike. That takes the guesswork out of baseball. I believe that should be implemented. It's unfair to the pitchers. It's unfair to the hitters. It's unfair to the catchers and everybody else. Some of these umpires, not all of them, some of them are atrocious with their consistency. Atrocious.
Or I think they should all be the same height. Because if you're 6'6" and you're 5'10", your strike zone's going to be totally different.
I agree, but why even worry about that and pick out umpires that are at the same height? Let's just computerize the whole thing.
It should be robot umpires.
It's not that simple, Brian.
I mean, it's terrible.
So you do agree with me?
This is America's pastime. Like I don't.
So you do agree?
I shouldn't have to agree with you, but after situations like last night,
it took last night for you finally to agree with me on this. I'm not saying you don't need umpires at all.
Brian, I still disagree with that. I think that the umpires are fine. I think if
it
ain't broke, don't fix it.
He just said they're not fine.
Do they make mistakes? Do they make mistakes?
Chris,
Absolutely
clearly
they do.
it's broke.
Okay.
Last night,
his solution that he's proposing is what I disagree with. Look, do they make mistakes? Absolutely.
All right, Chris.
They do.
Do you think that? Do you think that if Cole?
I think your solution though is flawed.
Do you think that?
No, it's not.
Do you think
that
if Cole?
No, it's not.
Do you think that if Cole would have thrown a temper tantrum, that he would have, or if didn't throw a temper tantrum, that he would have called that a strike?
No, absolutely
now,
not.
What would a robot have done in that situation?
What? Who?
A robot.
Wouldn't have mattered what Cole did on the mound.
Exactly.
Well,
It would,
I mean,
he would not.
You're presenting one
he would not
specific
have-
scenario.
he would not
this
have
happens
taken-
every game.
I'm talking about the game of baseball in general when it comes to officiating, the need for humans to be officiating the game on the field. That's what I'm talking about.
How about
you
getting
guys
the
are
calls right?
You're making specific situations
How
that
about
are
getting
geared towards your argument, which makes sense. I get that.
All right, well, let me ask you a
Okay?
question.
And
then.
by the way, this whole segment turned into we were talking about two women flashing on national television.
JD
to
said
now
he was
we're-
angry,
to,
yeah.
to why JD was upset is because of what happened down the field. It
Well, I'm
kind of
just-
got away
okay,
from
we
the
only
actual
got a minute.
story.
I am a sports purist. If I had the Astros last night and that happened, I wouldn't be happy about it. I want to win. I want to
We
win
gotta
every
break.
time, but I want to win the right way. I don't
Guys,
want to
we
cheat.
got to break.
So quickly, it's fair
we
to
gotta break.
establish, though, that you're not upset about the actual flashing at the game.
Obviously, I'm totally indifferent.
That's all
to
I
that.
wanted to point
I
out.
really don't care.
Indifferent? You don't care? I care.
Well, a couple of
I
boobs.
enjoyed it. Yeah, I had a good time. I
Brian,
enjoyed it.
how many pairs of boobs have you seen in your life?
I've never seen any boobs. I don't know what you're talking about.
zero.
I've never been to a
That-
strip club.
That would
yeah.
make sense then.
Yeah, I've never have.
You and Arthur Shapiro should hang out more.
I've seen you guys take your shirts off. That's enough boobs for me for
There
one
we
day.
go.
Anyway,
Well,
we're gonna
let's put
we
it
gotta
this way.
go.
I've seen plenty.
All right, we got to take a break. We'll be back right after this. You're listening to the Vegas Take.